sell the hell out of your books. Sell the Dickens. So, I wrote a book. I wrote it a long time ago. I published it. How wonderful. Notice, by the way, hardbacks. You say this again, hardbacks. You know why I sell hardbacks? Because I love them. I love hardbacks. You can open them up. But you know why I sell hardbacks? Because you don't. And when you're sitting at my table next to me, and when Teresa holds up one of her books, which she underprices, which I'm going to talk to you about in a moment, and people are walking by, she's holding up one of her paperbacks, right? And it's a really nice story. She's a really good writer. Here it is, right? Well, she's doing that. I'm letting the big guns go, right? Oh, yeah, I have hardback, too. Well, nobody publishes hardback. They're too expensive. You can't make enough money. Who cares? I've got hardback and she doesn't. That's going to come in handy later on. And when I sell books, if I get people to come up, I'm going to sell them the hardback. Because if someone has a softback in their hand versus a hardback in their hand, they're going this way. And in a moment, I'm going to tell you how I'm going to guarantee that they're going to buy this one. And not only buy this one. When I say to them out of the blue as they walk by, look, real words, it's like I hit them with a 2x4. And it's not because I have words, it's because I'm talking to them. Right? That stops them. That stops them. It stops them every time. And they'll turn and they'll look. And when they turn and look, they'll either look directly at me if I'm pitching them well, or they'll look at the big posters I've got. Now, why do I have the big posters? It's just that I want people to turn their face towards me. Once they turn their face towards me, they don't have to acknowledge me. They don't have to look at me or look at my eyeballs. But once they look in my direction, I can pitch them. So, this book right here, I'm selling this book. My name's Brad Cook. This book is $15. Right? Now, I know how books cost, what it costs to produce. I'll use my book for an example. Cosmos and Stellar Stalker. Generally about the same size, right? About the same size. I produced this book for about $6. $6. Now that doesn't include the artwork and the early editing, but I can pop these out hundreds or 10 for $6 each. So that when I'm talking to you about this book right here, there are two things I'm going to do. I'm going to look you in the eyes, right? And I'm going to say, here. And this is good. He's resisting. Now this is good. That's good. You know, if you go to buy a new car, right? What's the car salesman want you to do?
Get in.
Get in. It doesn't matter what car it is. As soon as you get in the car, you are there next to me. Right? Now some people figure that out when I'm working on them, right? And so I'm just going to want to get that book. Very, very successful, very, very, very well respected writers. And that's C.M. Naismith, first quote. Second one, the poet laureate for the state of Kentucky. And the third one, a very significant author in the state of Kentucky. These three on the back. And I saw her on Sunday, and I asked her if I could use this as an example of what not to do. She said, have at it. The stuff on the back of this book is going to sell nothing. That's right. It's going to sell nothing. Because people don't know the people. It doesn't look like it's digestible, and it's not written in a way to be captivating. So coming back to your question, when I have a book, it's a hardback. Feel. Just feel.
Thank you.
So as I'm handing this book, this goes to your question, right? As I'm handing this book, right, I've got a taker now. His hand's out. I know he's going to hold it, right? Watch what I do. Here, just read that and I'll tell you what's going on. Every book I hand someone gets, the cover's nice, it gets turned over. I got him, I point my finger there. Nobody is so rude. Nobody is so rude as to not read it. That's really rude. I don't have anybody who says, I'm not interested. If I get it in their hands, they're going to read what's on the back. That's what's going to sell your book. So let's, if you would, look at this. Look at the manure pit. This is my 5th short story that's going to the publishers next week. And I brought it as an example of the blurb. But you can see the blurb. It's on the back of all of my books, and it's on the back of what I handed out to you. Take a read of the blurb. Now, this is exactly what happens at my table. People read it, right? If I've got a good enough enticing blurb, they're going to find this is perfect. No, this is perfect. This is perfect. Now look at this technique, right? So I'm sitting behind my table, and this lovely lady who can't hear me is coming up. I don't know that because she's smiling so much, right? And she's resisting. I keep trying to get the book. She won't pick the book up. Right? She won't pick the book up, right? So what I'll do is I'll put the book right here, right? And I'll look at the face, and I'll just start talking to her. Now, I think she's hearing me, but she's not. I'll say all kinds of wonderful things about myself. And as I'm talking, right, I just keep looking at it. I just keep talking. I say, yeah, and these books are so incredibly cheap. You really ought to take a look at one. I mean, it would be a really good thing to take a look at. I'd like to take a break. We'll go on for that. How about that? Nobody's going to let a hardback book fall on the floor. So that people who have seen him and saying, what is that about? Some people will say that. Will come and then they will turn their eyes to him. If they turn their eyes to him, they're looking in my direction. I can picture it. Cosmos, stellar stalker. Now, now, let me tell you what you do after this, Kevin. So you take that off, Kevin, and then what happens is this. More, yes, yes, yes. Now put it in front of your face. God.
Oh. No. Oh, there we go. Hey, you got little holes I can see.
Oh, thank you, Kevin. I think of all the details. So what am I doing with this? Same thing. I want to send him around. This though, time,
like
I'm going to put it down. People will see his face and they'll bring it up. It's just all to bring that around.
Which do you like better, this?
Tom and put it back. Put it back. Kevin, I can. I know. Kevin, here. You asked that question, Kevin. We should answer that question. Which one looks better?
Oh, okay.
Here, just turn around. Turn around. Turn around. Turn around. That one looks better.
A little more hideous.
All right. So what? It's a gimmick, right? It's a gimmick. Now it's a new one that I'm working up, and it's one to send my handsome assistant around to get people to come and look at what I've got going on. But I have smaller versions. It'll probably take me, $1.50 to make each one of these. But I'm gonna try marketing them to the younger people because with the younger people I can put the mask on. They'll probably keep it on for a little while. This one they'll probably walk it around some more, and people will see it. And all I want them to do is wonder if that's the same guy, because if they look my direction, I'm in better shape. So the question came up: what kind of books do I write? I write magic realism here, and I write fiction science. Fiction science here, Cosmos. I'm a biologist. I write about biology. I love high energy physics. I write about high energy physics. And I'm a long-time caver. I'm a spelunker. And if you've ever done any work underground, the rest of your life you will write about it. I write about those three things. And I don't want to write a story unless I'm also exploring science behind it. So some of the stories are more biologically oriented, more geologically oriented, more cave oriented. And others are just plain flat out. Notice I'm going for the hardback to hold up, right? I could hold up the little wimpy thing. I hold up the hardback. You know why? because Teresa doesn't have it.
Not yet.
Yeah, that's right. It'll come soon. It'll come soon. Lost leaders if you have to. So this is fiction science. So my son, Philip, who's 31, has a doctorate in physics from Stanford. So I write all this stuff to him. I say, okay, son, let's make sure that I'm right, because as Brad said last night, and Brad gave a wonderful talk last night over at the Science Center that I attended. And Brad, what I liked about what you had to say, because you were also ginning up the enthusiasm and excitement for steampunk and also your books in general, but you had some real nuggets in there. One of the nuggets you had in there was that you're a historian and you want to be historically accurate, and you're a scientist and you want to be scientifically accurate. You will make a jump into a fantasy concept, but everything else will be the same. So the fantasy concept might be a train with a leg going across Africa. Well, I'm telling you, when you talked about that, I had this thought. Damn, why didn't I think of that? That is gorgeous. And I'm going to talk about my artist, and I want to talk about your artist, because I really like the sketch work. She's not here.
She is.
Oh, I love your work. And I want to talk to you. I want to tell you how I do my work, because I was looking at your work and I was thinking about my guy, and it's kind of the same thing. No, and that's what I told Brad when I first saw him back in Archive. Those were some really stunning diagrams, the sketches especially. But that Millitrain, is that what it is?
Yep.
The Millitrain going across Africa is gorgeous. His it's not the parrot. Is it the parakeet?
No, it's Dragon.
No, your ship.
Oh, no, the Sparrowhawk.
The Sparrowhawk. I mean, that Sparrowhawk is gorgeous. You do that too, right?
I did.
It was gorgeous. I mean, I'm telling you, you have a really important style, a very nice style, and you, sir, are damn lucky.
I am.
Because if you work with her and continue, you'll build up, along with us, your own stories. You'll do just what I'm doing. You'll build up a parallel universe of art that evolves along with it.
Yeah, I have an entire page of my website with her art, so
Yeah,
it's a sketchbook.
Yeah, and it just evolves. So I'm glad you're here. Jennifer, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about
If anyone wants one.
Good. I'm going to talk about cards, too. I'm going to talk about cards. And America will be great again. It'll be really great. And the wall will be another 10 feet. And they'll pay for it.
No, we won't.
The best political theater. Well, finally you see more and more of this stuff. And so I said, well, okay, well, I'll put one of these videos on there. And then I took a look at the video. I got 360 on there. I was a fool. I was raising tomatoes hydroponically. When you don't self-promote, you're holding back. You're preventing more of you reaching out to more of them. Self-promote. It's healthy and it's good. Now, what's the price that you pay? Your negatives go up. If you're a self-promoter, more people than otherwise would know that you're out there, and more people would take offense at your style. I have found in all of the public speaking that I do that there is a percentage of people that just don't like my style. They don't like the way I look. They don't like the way I talk. They don't like the confidence that I exude, or the cockiness, or a joke that I make. And I can't pick those people out, but they're there. Some I punish by making them wear masks. And so, for the past 35 years, when I've spoken publicly, I've always had a form come back with comments. And more often than not, I'll have, let's say, if there are 25 comments that come back, I'll have 20, you ought to be a comedian. This was so entertaining. And I keep building on that to get better. But there's always one person in there. Not always, more often than not. Or as we say, how does he do that? See that Donald Trump takes his bottom? So two things. Donald Trump takes the bottom of his palm, pushes it out when he gets his finger. Take a look at that. And Ted Cruz pulls his lips back into a clam look after he speaks. Turn the sound off and watch these politicians. They'll teach you how to sell. They'll teach you how to sell. So my point is this. I don't care if you're an angel from heaven. There's going to be a certain percentage of people that are going to be turned off by how you act, who will actually be offended by how you act. and who just will dislike it. And you have to just accept that as being part of life. You can't go through life pleasing everybody. And if you try to please everybody, you won't get to the people who would enjoy your company properly. So, self-promote. Get over your upbringing and step right out there and make some new friends. Make some new friends. All right, so we talked about people coming to me, right? If they turn in and look my direction, I'll pitch them. We have two scenarios. I'm about to have a third scenario, which I'll tell you about. Let's say I'm at this table right here. If the aisle between tables is just this short, I'm golden. Just a little bit longer. Because that means people walking through can't get away from me. Right? And if I have a narrow aisle, I am talking nonstop. I'm talking nonstop. Hey, wait. Here's what I'll do. I'll say something to get them to stop and look. And if they just turn my way, I go, I think this is you. Well, of course it's not them. And they're going to say, of course it's not me. And then I start chatting. Right? Or I say, I think you're into, where do you live? Right? It's a friendly enough thing to say. Now you have a choice if you're walking down the aisle. You can either ignore the person talking to you, which is the right thing to do. But it's terribly rude. It's terribly rude. Hey, where do you live? So if I can get to those people and ask them that question, what? Now 85% are going to say something to me. And as soon as they turn and say something to me, I've got shit coming out the ears. Right? So, I'll say, oh, well, then you would like this book over here, right? And at that point, they've turned, and they starting to quiver, right? Because they don't want to move, and they don't know how to get away from my clutches. So I keep talking to them. And then I look at them, and I say, oh, and look. I say, hey, look. We've got... I've got artwork, right? Oh, now it's getting a little more serious, right? You can pass these around. Well, now it's getting a little more serious. I do kind of like art. That's why I'm here, because there's all these artists. As at that point, now remember what I'm doing now. They've stopped. I'm talking to them. I haven't hit them with a book yet. I'm just talking about these. They're quivering, trying to get away. Oh, look, I've got art. Now watch this. Now that is human fly fishing right there. Because that person at that point needs to make a decision. Are they simply going to do the right thing, which is smile and get the hell out of there? Or are they going to do the nice thing and reach out and grab an offer that I gave them? And as they grab the offer that I gave them, I'm just pulling them right. And so they're looking at this because they will. They'll look at this and say, oh, well, that's kind of fun. This is kind of fun. As soon as they say that, I say, oh, yeah, and I've got this one over here, too, right? This one there. And now they've moved up to the table. That means they're within striking distance. And if they're within striking distance, you know what's going to happen next. Well, here, just read the back. Now, I think, you guys saw me do this technique, I think that I sell about 50% of the people that I get to the table. I sell about 50% to get to the table. But that's the shtick, right? I need to get them to look this direction, whether it be by Kevin, whether it be by the poster, or whether I say something that stops them. But if I get them to turn, then I can talk to them. And once I can talk to them, I have techniques for reeling them into the table. Once I get them into the table, we can have a discussion. And I can find out if they really are interested in something that I've got to sell. And if they are, then it's just a matter of negotiating something that they feel that they're getting a steal on, plus some personal knowledge, something special. So, you